We're going to make cornbread dressing since tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and you may notice I've got two little dogs running around in here just hoping something falls on the floor. Dressing is probably about my favorite food. I could eat turkey and dressing. I'm not crazy about turkey, but if it goes with the dressing, I'll take it. But I could eat that just about any day of the year. It's definitely one of my favorites. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, so maybe it's just because of all the food. But usually miserable afterwards, but that's okay. That's part of what it's about. So this is really simple to do. It's one of those recipes where you just dump everything in the bowl, mix it up, pour it in a pan and bake it, and that's my favorite. It does take some prep work, but it's really quick to assemble and then just throw in the oven. But I will tell you, it can take a long time to cook to get really brown, just because you're going to have a lot of chicken broth in there, so it's not too dry. I do have biscuits and cornbread that I made yesterday, and we're going to throw those in there. I do try and make those the day ahead of time, and that way they can dry out a little bit. I don't have to do everything in one day, and it's just a whole lot easier on me to make the cornbread and the biscuits a day ahead of time so that they're ready to go in whatever time I'm ready to cook my dressing. So in my bowl, I've crumbled 4 cups of cornbread and 3 cups of biscuits. And I will try and remember to post in the comments what all the ingredients are and what the recipe is. But you can always ask and make your own comments, and I will reply to those and ask any questions that you have, and I'll be glad to give you the answer if I have it. If I don't have it, I'll try and find it. So I just kind of mix those together with my hands a little bit. Just crumble it up. It's okay if you have bigger pieces. It's not going to hurt anything. It's going to break down when you add the broth to it anyway, so that's not really going to be a big deal. To that, I'm going to add 2 stalks of celery that I've chopped fairly fine. These are probably bigger chunks than my mom would put in there, but we're not going to tell her. Of course, she'll probably see the video, so she'll tell me I did them too big, but that's okay. But I don't really care if they're bigger bites or not. I like it kind of crunchy in there whenever I bite into it, but it'll get cooked pretty done, so it's not going to be terrible if I make them a little too big. To that, I will add a tablespoon of poultry seasoning, and I've got half a tablespoon, so we'll use that. So I'm going to put 2 of these in to make a whole tablespoon. You can adjust this to how you like it. I think 1 tablespoon is fine. Some people may like more, some may like less. And this is just going to be a combination of seasonings so that you don't have to buy the individual ones. My mom does put fresh sage in her dressing, and it does taste a little bit better, but I don't have that, and I ain't got time for that because I'm trying to do this quick so y'all can get your dressing made for Thanksgiving. Then we're going to add a cup of cream of chicken soup. This gives it some richness in addition to the chicken broth. I think it helps with the consistency too. And you'll hear me use the word consistency all the time when it comes to my recipes, because that's probably one of the most important things, is getting that consistency right so that your food tastes good. To that, we're going to add 2 eggs. I do go ahead and break my eggs into a bowl, because if there's anything wrong with the egg, or if there's pieces of shell or anything in there, I don't have to worry about it ruining everything in my mix that's already there. I don't beat them because they're going to get mixed in well enough once I stir this all together. So I think that that's fine. You can put some onion in there, like a whole onion chopped up really fine. I don't do that because most of the people in my house don't like onion. I'm the only one, so I just don't put it in there. It's not worth the battle. So pick your battles, and when it comes to food, I'm just going to leave that out. I can do, my mom, she spoils my brother. He's the favorite, by the way. And she will make a pan of dressing for him and for my husband that does not have any onion in it. But the rest of us like it. So we have the big pan of dressing, and then they always have the no onion dressing sitting off to the side. So you can do it that way if you want to. That kind of works because it's easy to divide this up. If you don't have a big family to cook for, then you can divide this up, bake it, give it to somebody else. keep the mix, give it to somebody else once it's mixed up, but before it's baked, and they can bake it. My mom does that for some people. She'll fix it up, mix it, and then have it ready for them to bake, or she'll just bake it and take it to them, especially if it's somebody who's not able to do it for themselves. To that, we're going to add our chicken broth. This is the one of the big containers of chicken broth that you can get, and it comes out to about 4 cups. I measured it just so I could see exactly how much was in there. And I'm going to add it to get it just kind of incorporated first before I really try and get a lot of broth in there, just to get it all mixed up. And it's already smelling so good. Okay, I'm gonna add more because it's gonna take a good bit of broth. This is another one of those things that it's not gonna be an exact measurement, because your amount of broth that you need is gonna depend on how dry or how moist your biscuits or cornbread are. It's about there, so I would say maybe 3 to 3.5 cups of broth is going to be all you need. This may be just a little soupier than what I wanted, but it's fine. It'll bake and it'll brown and it'll get done. Okay, so if you can see this consistency, it's not really soupy, but it's not dry. I mean, it's kind of soupy, but that's because I got too much broth. But that's about the consistency you want it. About like an oatmeal that you've already put everything in. I don't know if that's a good example or not, but I'll go with it. I'm going to put it into a baking dish that I already have greased. I greased this one because this is almost like the cast iron version of stoneware. The problem is mine is not seasoned very good, so I did have to grease it because the cornbread and the biscuits and dressing and all that stuff will stick to it. I thought we're gonna get tired of my blue mixing bowl, but it's my favorite. Okay, I'm gonna spread it out a little. And this will rise some as it cooks and those eggs get done and it all starts to come together. It will thicken up and rise a little bit. I'm going to put it in the oven at 400, cook it for a while. Once I'm done, I'll tell you how long it took to cook it, but you want it golden brown on top. So I'll show you what that looks like once we're done. The dressing is out of the oven. It did take about 50 minutes to an hour to make, to get good and golden brown. That's what good golden brown dressing is going to look like. It's super hot right now, and these stoneware pans, they stay super hot for a long time too, just like the iron skillets. One thing I did forget to tell you that I did remember later and took out was you want to keep 1 cup of the raw dressing aside if you're going to make gravy. So put that to the side, keep it. You can add chicken. I can't even talk right this morning. But you can add chicken to this if you want to. It will dry it out some to do that. I don't put meat in mine just because we're having it with turkey. So that is another option if you want to do it that way, but you don't have to. So I did keep 1 cup of the raw dressing out. I'll use that to make gravy in another video and show you how to do that so you're all ready to go on Thanksgiving Day. Thanks, y'all. Enjoy.